There's magic waiting for you at the movies with Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
An astronaut faces isolation, desolation, and revelation in the science fiction character drama Moon.
And a team of explosives experts engage in a high-stakes game of cat and mouse in Iraq in director Catherine Bigelow's The Hurt Locker. Grab the popcorn and settle in. It's time for Slick Flicks.
Welcome to this edition of Slick Flicks. My name is Yelena Bekova.
And I'm Patrick Gibbs.
After a seemingly endless wait, the last of the major summer blockbuster releases is finally here, as Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince makes its way into the theaters at last. But Patrick, is it worth waiting for?
Yes, it is. Having returned to power, Death Eaters attack both the Muggle and Wizarding worlds, ravaging the Millennium Bridge and Diagon Alley in the process. The evil Lord Voldemort is on the warpath, and he's given young Draco Malfoy, played by Tom Felton, an assignment. And Double Agent Severus Snape makes an unbreakable vow to protect him while he tries to fulfill his duty, and to carry out the assignment if Draco fails. Meanwhile, Harry Potter, the boy who lived, having had his name cleared after being accused of lying about Voldemort's return, is approached by none other than Hogwarts headmaster Professor Dumbledore, who asks for Harry's help in enticing former potions professor Horace Slughorn to return to Hogwarts. At Hogwarts, Harry discovers a newfound aptitude in his potions classes, thanks to a mysterious, battered old copy of the potions manual. The book is filled with useful notes written by its previous owner and is marked Property of the Half-Blood Prince. Harry's use of these notes leads to some fruitful, but eventually sinister results. Now, as an obsessive hardcore Harry Potter fan who's read each book multiple times, it took me more than one viewing to sort out just exactly what I thought of this film. As usual, there's a lot of condensing of the original source material, and more liberties have been taken with this film than in any other in the series, except perhaps for Alfonso Cuarón's Prisoner of Azkaban. But much like with that film, this film's director, David Yates, handles the proceedings with a deft hand and awe-inspiring visual style. And what's more, he brings the best performances yet out of this fine group of actors. Any minor misgivings I might have had were quickly transfigured into nothing but praise for this triumphant adaptation. In particular, the performances of Michael Gambon as Dumbledore and Alan Rickman as Severus Snape are utterly engaging, as is the endlessly charming Emma Watson as Hermione Granger, and of course the reliable Rupert Grint provides many a comic highlight. But perhaps the best acting in this film comes from the great Academy Award winner Jim Broadbent as the new potions master, Slughorn, and from Tom Felton as the villainous yet sympathetic Draco Malfoy. Felton is absolutely mesmerizing. He's always been the most polished of the young actors in the Potter films, and in this movie he shows he's continued to hone his skill and has a fine career ahead of him when this franchise is over. But it's important to point out that Daniel Radcliffe, who's taken some heat over the years over his performance as Harry, really has always done a highly capable job. But he gives by far his strongest performance yet in this film, both in nicely understated dramatic scenes and in some hilariously amusing comic highlights. In the end, this may be the most all-around satisfying live-action blockbuster of the summer, and now that it's firmly out of the shadow of Lord of the Rings and casting its own devastatingly large shadow over Twilight, it's delightful to see the Potter franchise finally get the recognition it deserves. This is a truly great film, and one that I will see again and again. Both Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince earned top marks in their OWL exams, and I give them each an O for outstanding. I really like this film a lot.
Patrick, I'm actually quite shocked because I find that I agree with you this one time. You see, when I watched... It's
not the only time we've ever agreed.
I loved almost everything in the Harry Potter movie, except what I absolutely hated was the fact that I know that it's such a huge book and it's being crammed into such a little movie, and they still went and added a scene that was completely unnecessary, had nothing to do with the story in the beginning.
They added two scenes.
What was the second one?
The second one was the attack on the Weasleys' home did not take place in the book. You know, I had a hard time with that the first time around. I've seen the movie 3 times now, and I think they did a really good job. Those scenes advanced the characters.
Home was okay. I just thought the first scene was. I mean, the only point that it had in having that scene made is to show that Harry Potter is now in the age where he's interested in girls and he wants to go out and date girls. But that wasn't really necessary. They could have showed that later at the dances.
They could have, but I thought that it did show. I thought that it successfully showed a maturity and a change in the character.
It was successful, but unnecessary. And I just thought it wasted a little bit of that special time that we needed.
You know, I really strongly felt that way the first time I saw it. Less so on repeat viewings.
Now, one of my favorite characters to watch in this movie was Looney Luna.
Luna Lovegood. I absolutely love her. She's one of my favorite characters in the books, and the actress who plays that role.
You know, I was watching the movie with this guy next to me, and every time she came on screen, he was like, "Oh, she's such a geek," and it made me angry. I wanted to slap him.
That would make me angry too, because for me, I just adore her. And the highlight of the movie to me, the one part, again, as an obsessive fan of the books, the one part I said, if they cut this, I am going to scream.
What was it?
Luna's Gryffindor lion hat, and when I saw her in that, it's absolutely enchanting.
What I absolutely love about her character is that she goes out and does what she wants to and how she feels about it without any regard to what other people might think of her.
Absolutely.
It shows such a strength of character. And you're right, the actress did an amazing job.
Oh, she's a major discovery.
And Emma Watson, she's just getting more beautiful and more mature every year. It's amazing.
Each of the actors just keep getting better.
And even Harry Potter, like Daniel Radcliffe, I used to complain so many times about his acting.
Yes, you're one of the people that I was referring to. I thought he was really, really strong in this one. You know, I just thought all around this was a really terrific
I can't wait to go see it again.
Me too.
Now, Patrick actually had a chance to join in the magic and talk to some enthusiastic Harry Potter fans at the opening night at Hogsmeade Festival at our favorite local theater, Megaplex 17 at Jordan Commons.
That's right. Megaplex Theaters, the largest and best theater chain in Utah, held a spectacular Harry Potter release party, the biggest one in Utah, and I was lucky enough to be a part of it. I have to tell you, Elena, I had a blast with this.
I am so sorry that I had to miss it.
It was great. Jordan Commons and Hogwarts are 2 places that are really very close to my heart. And the Muggles at Megaplex Theaters really know how to throw a party. I had a chance to talk to some of the eager fans waiting in line to see the movie and knock back a few butterbeers at the Hogsmeade Festival. The Harry Potter festivities actually began several days earlier as Jordan Commons screened all 5 previous Harry Potter films on separate nights in terrific presentations that were thoroughly enjoyable and well worth the price of admission, even if you already own the films on DVD, which of course I do. But of course, the big attraction was the new film. Let's journey to Hogsmeade to see what these enthusiastic fans have to say. But I have to give you a quick warning that due to my failure to cast a successful sonorist charm and some technical difficulties, the audio quality may leave a little bit to be desired, but nothing can dampen the fun had by all that evening.
Wizards and witches, muggles of all ages, we have with us right now the boy who lived, Mr. Harry Potter himself. How are you, Harry?
Good.
This is a licorice wand.
You're right. Come on, buy some sweets then.
All right, what do we have here?
In order to have all light, you must comprehend the darkness. This is not a dark movie. This is a light movie to enlarge the soul and understand that these students are the future of our planet.
Yeah, cockroach clusters, licorice wands,
Chocolate
pups,
frogs.
chocolate frogs. This, I'm not seeing any chocolate here on this frog. White chocolate frogs. So that's good. All right.
You touch it, you buy it.
All right. Fair enough. Do you take credit cards? Here we have the groundskeeper of Hogwarts, Professor Hagrid. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Just hanging out with my favorite pals.
All right. Are you Harry's firebolt?
I am. Exactly. Yeah, this is the snitch that I'm after.
Oh, you're the golden snitch.
That's right.
So you would be very hard to catch, but worth it.
What does he think? He caught her?
Yes.
Oh, you caught her?
Points.
Good. Okay, so that pretty much ended the game right there when you caught her. Katie Bell, by any chance?
I wish, but no.
Okay, so you don't play for the Gryffindor team.
Once again, I wish, but no.
Now, can I ask you, is it true that you used to be married to Professor Gilderoy Lockhart?
No comment.
No comment? And is it also true that he left you for Bellatrix Lestrange?
I'd rather not speak about it.
Okay, all right, she's going to keep mum on that. I'm going to guess here we've got Hermione Granger, Bellatrix Lestrange, and judging by the lightning bolt scar, I'm going to say this is Harry Potter himself. Is it true that you were actually married to Professor Gilderoy Lockhart?
Oh, my dear. That is a secret only for my future.
Kaylin Hernandez.
All right, and
Delaney Putnam.
can I just Delaney Putnam? That is a Harry Potter name, if ever there was one. You've got a time turner right there, I see.
Yes.
So have you actually used the time turner to see the movie?
Well, yes, one time.
Oh, so you've actually seen the movie with the time turner. So give us your review.
Well, it is actually quite wonderful and enchanting, but dark.
What's your favorite Harry Potter book?
Probably the third.
Prisoner of Azkaban? Very good answer. What's your favorite of the movies?
Prisoner of Azkaban.
Mine too. Definitely my favorites. Have you read any of the books?
I've read the back of them.
You read the back of them. Okay, so judging a book by its cover, which you're not supposed to do, which one do you think is the best of the books?
Number 3.
Number 3? You're judging that by the movie?
No, by the cover.
By the cover? Okay. How long have you been a Harry Potter fan?
Since the first movie.
Since the first movie? Cool. Have you read any of the books?
No.
You never read any of the books?
Yeah, I've read number 3.
I have read one page of a book and...
One page, ladies and gentlemen. That's impressive. Can you tell us which page number it was?
It was the first...
It
was the first book.
Page 1 of the first book.
I can only say that we have the best students now ever studying. These people are ready and prepared for all of the magic you will see tonight. This is the greatest movie ever produced about our students and our people.
Kate has bravely volunteered to taste test a Birdie Bot's Every Flavor bean for us and see if she can figure out what flavor it is. All right, so Kate, I'm going to let you pick a bean. Any guesses?
Tastes like pepper.
Black pepper, that is correct. What do you think you've got there?
Salamander lizard.
Salamander lizard. Apparently your taste buds have gone the way of your eye because that's a black pepper.
Black pepper.
Again, correct. You got a black pepper. Any guesses?
Dirt!
No, don't worry, it's not dirt at all. It might taste like dirt, but it's really nothing that bad. What you just ate was earthworm. How does it taste? Taste good? Okay, it just says it tastes okay. That's actually a booger.
I have no idea.
That would be booger. Okay, that speaks highly of you that you don't know what it tastes like, because Delaney, I'm sorry to say that you are eating a booger. Sausage. So,
Sorry.
you don't taste the sausage. Well, it's either sausage or earwax. Right now, you're eating a soap bean. Does that taste any better?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, the soap is better than the booger. That's good to know.
Whatever it is, I don't like it.
Well, let me ask you, do you feel the need to wash your mouth out at all?
It tastes like toothpaste.
Well, it probably should, because that was a soap. Yes, that is a vomit flavored bean. That would be a vomit.
Very tasty, my favorite. For magical creatures, that's what we like.
Well, you know, with your cooking, it actually, I think, fits very well.
We are going to be making dragon toothpaste. It's a thing that we do in our wizard school birthday parties. Very important for things like Harry Potter. You see those dragons, they smell horrible. So we're creating some toothpaste so that, when you're breathed upon, when you are being blown fire at, then you can at least smell good.
All right, dragon toothpaste. So take it away, Alyssa. What are the ingredients in dragon toothpaste?
We've actually got the ogre's blood and the extract of mermaid scale, plus the dragon's milk, which gives it the dragon's favorite flavor here. And that...
Wow. That's cool. Sort of like when you put Mentos in Coke. Right now, we have a snake here with us by the name of Snuggles. I understand that Snuggles is actually a big Harry Potter fan, and we're going to conduct a little interview with him. How did the whole Chamber of Secrets thing go for you?
It's pretty hard.
What was the hardest part?
Fighting the basilisk.
Fighting the basilisk. Fortunately, I happen to be a parcel mouth, so I am going to speak to Snuggles in parcel tongue and see what he has to say about the new film. Saya, Sashi, Sieth.
Earthworms!
Okay, Snuggles says that it's definitely... Half-Blood Prince is definitely a lot better than Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. In fact, he really... absolutely hated that movie. What house do you think you'd be sorted into if you went to Hogwarts? But apparently he does like Megan Fox.
I'm looking forward to seeing some more action from Voldemort.
How many letters per day would you estimate Freya carries?
Oh, it depends on the day.
I'm guessing Gryffindor because you have that Weasley look about you. And I mean Weasley family, not that you look like a weasel. Kind of a small owl. Is she equipped to carry books, anything like that?
No, not quite, unless they're enchanted to be lighter. She is a full-grown owl. This is as big as she gets.
He also wants us to let you know that you can come and see him at Hogle Zoo all summer. Does she ever carry howlers?
Not really. She doesn't really like the loud noises. Owls have very sensitive hearing.
Which one would you rather date, Harry or Ron?
Ron.
Why is that?
Kissing?
Actually, that would be snogging. We call it snogging. I can tell you, you will see some of that.
Because I like his personality.
She likes his personality. That's good. What about you, Harry or Ron?
Ron.
Ron? Okay, so you guys are going to be fighting over Ron.
Yeah.
A lot of fighting.
A lot of fighting. Actually, in this movie, as in real life, the fighting and the snogging are kind of connected.
I have the inner eye.
Okay, that must hurt.
You have great coins falling into your pocket.
Coins falling into my pocket. I'm good with that, but
they will fall out of your pocket.
They will fall out of my pockets?
Flying out of your pocket.
I don't like that part as much. The Grim, what? So, am I gonna die?
Moment of death, yes.
How am I going to die?
Slow and painfully.
Slowly and painfully? That's not my first choice, I've got to say.
So there you have it. Megaplex 17 at Jordan Commons is also the only place where you can see Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince in IMAX, with selected scenes in 3D. So really, there's no question this is the place you want to go to see this movie.
When we return, we'll take a look at the science fiction drama Moon, starring Sam Rockwell. Don't go anywhere, Slick Flicks will be right back.
Welcome to Utah. Whether you're here for the waters of the rocks or the greatest snow on Earth, remember to check your tags because many bags look alike. Please
Whatever it is you like to do, you can do it best Utah. Come see for yourself. Request a travel guide at www.utah.travel.
Welcome back to this edition of Slick Flicks.
Moving on from big budget blockbusters, we thought it would be nice to showcase a couple of smaller films on this episode. First up is Moon, a throwback to the true hardcore science fiction films, the types of which we haven't seen in a long time. So, Yelena, is this a voyage to the moon that's worth taking?
Absolutely. The film Moon is about Sam Bell, a blue-collar employee contracted to work alone on the moon for 3 years. His job is to collect helium-3 from moon harvesters and ship it back to Earth. Helium-3 has become the source of 70% of the Earth's energy, and the company selling it, Lunar Industries, is making a killing, literally. Sam Bell is just 2 weeks from finishing his contract and returning to Earth, back to his wife and 3-year-old daughter. However, he starts having hallucinations. One hallucination distracts him while he's driving to the harvester, and Sam crashes into it. Sam wakes up in the infirmary, where he is being tended to by Gertie, the ship's computer and robot, voiced over by Kevin Spacey. Gertie explains to Sam that he was in an accident while driving to the lunar rover. Sam cannot shake the feeling that there is more to what's happening than Gertie is telling him, and when he sets out to look at the crashed vehicle, he discovers the last thing he expected. A forewarning to all those who decide to watch this amazing film. This is not an action movie, it's not a psychological thriller, there is no great surprise twist at the end. If after the preview you guessed that this film will end like Fight Club, you're wrong. This story is about an isolated human and how he emotionally evolves after years of separation from Earth. It's a story about the worth of a person regardless of where they come from or what their fate is. It's a heartbreaking tale of giving someone the greatest hope they could wish for and then tearing it away. And it's a tale about the value of human emotion. This is Duncan Jones' first feature-length film, but it's not a surprise he did such a great job considering he graduated the London Film School as a director. Jones was trying to capture the essence of the 70s and 80s sci-fi films that were more character-driven than the shallow Hollywood blockbusters of today. Some may think he went overboard with Moon, however I agree with the majority of critics that he did an extraordinary job of capturing the lost essence of the blue-collar hero in an alien environment. As for the leading man, Sam Rockwell, he's been a favorite actor of mine since Charlie's Angels. He's got the great subtle ability to play sincerely in the moment. A lot of big Hollywood stars lack that ability, which makes it all the more valuable when an actor displays it. He was absolutely great. I have nothing but compliments about his performance. If you liked 2001: A Space Odyssey, the first half of Alien, Benjamin Button, or any character-driven movie, I think you'll enjoy this sincere, heartbreaking film. I give it an A.
I like the way you jump from Alien to Benjamin Button. That's like, if you like movies like A Passage to India or Strange Brew, this is the movie for you.
Well, maybe you just don't understand.
Seriously, we're on the same page about this movie. I give it an A+. I absolutely loved Moon. I'm a big science fiction fan, and I enjoy movies like Star Wars, that sort of thing, but that's really more what we call space opera. It's been a long time. I think probably Steven Soderbergh's Solaris is the last time I've seen an actual real science fiction movie, and that was a good film. Moon is even better.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that make this great. The subtle direction by Duncan Jones, who, by the way, is actually the son of rock star David Bowie.
Really?
Was really a lot of fun.
That is fascinating.
Interestingly enough, the producer of this film was Trudy Styler, who is better known as Mrs. Sting. So as I watched this movie, I kept waiting to hear Space Oddity by David Bowie or Walking on the Moon by Sting playing, and it never happened. But I think it's good that instead they just didn't rely on their relatives and made their own work of art. And this movie is truly a work of art.
Now, Duncan Jones, I read an interview with him, and he intentionally intended from the beginning to have a very small cast.
Duncan Jones did a terrific job. At first, I have to say, at first I thought this movie
touched me more than The Hurt Locker, which we'll review in a moment.
Well, they're two entirely different films. I would agree. It touched me more than The Hurt Locker. In fact, I would venture to say that this movie touched me more than it did you, but I can't say why on camera without giving away an important plot point. I will say, there was something specific about this film that I related to in a very specific, profound way. This is one of my favorite movies.
If this film had been cast a leading actor by anyone else, if anyone who had even a little bit less talent than Sam Rockwell, I think it would have been unbearable. I would agree. He's the one, I think, who carried the film so well. The story was great, but without having an actor who can emotionally carry out the plot, I think it would have been awful.
I think Sam Rockwell is one of the unsung heroes of Hollywood. He's never going to be as big as a Johnny Depp because he just doesn't have quite those leading man looks. I mean,
You're right. It's the face, not the.
He got his.
Unfortunately,
right. He's a far more versatile actor.
He's been in a lot of independent films lately.
He mostly has done independent films. He didn't really get a chance to anchor a major Hollywood film until George Clooney's Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, when Clooney really went to bat and said, "This is the actor I want to star in my movie." Since then, we've seen him in some films like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. One of his most famous roles is The Green Mile, and that was the first thing I saw him in. I saw that movie, and I thought, he was so creepy and despicable in that. I don't think I can see him in another movie.
Exactly. He was so disgusting.
And then I turned around a couple of weeks later and saw him as the comedic highlight of Galaxy Quest, where he just made me absolutely love him.
The first movie I saw him in that I really liked was Charlie's Angels, and even though that's more of a shallow film, more of an action-driven film, I loved that he was able to switch characters throughout that movie.
He was terrific. He had a great personality and just a great presence in that film. I think I'm the only guy.
I think he does. In every film has a great presence.
I think I'm the only guy I know who said, "Heck with Cameron Diaz dancing in her underwear. I'm going to see Charlie's Angels because Sam Rockwell is in it. He's that good an actor."
Yeah.
I just love him. And
my favorite scene in Charlie's Angels is when he dies in the helicopter.
That was a good scene. But moving back to Moon, another person who I thought was really terrific in an understated performance was Kevin Spacey. I thought that there was a lot more to that character than I expected, particularly where his character was concerned. I've got to be honest, when the movie started, I really thought, okay, basically we're seeing a 2001 A Space Odyssey wannabe. This was not a 2001 wannabe, but it really seems that way at first.
It touched similar lines, but it was not the same movie.
It was not the same movie, and it had much more heart to it.
Kevin Spacey actually didn't sign on to do the voiceover until the movie was complete, and he took a look at it, and he saw how amazing it was, and he decided to do the voiceover for it.
Right. I think this is much more emotionally moving and captivating than
and not as abstract. It makes a lot more sense than 2001: Space Odyssey.
Agreed. It's a terrific film. I think we both highly recommend that you go out and see.
I think the director did an incredible job being brave enough to go ahead and make such a strange movie.
I couldn't agree more. We're on the same page.
Okay.
Moon is one of the best films of the year, I think.
And last but not least, we're going to take a look at the movie that's already being called the Oscar frontrunner in the Best Picture and Best Director categories. Catherine Bigelow's Iraq War film, The Hurt Locker. So, Patrick, should we stay the course and watch this film, or should we pull out and go back home?
Well, The Hurt Locker chronicles the story of a U.S. Army Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit in their last 30 days of their rotation. When the leader of their unit is killed while defusing a bomb, Sergeant Sanborn and Eldridge, played by Anthony Mackie and Brian Garrity, are given a new leader, Staff Sergeant Will James, a loose cannon wild man who seems to be fearless. But is he so fearless that he is a danger to himself and the men in his command? The soldiers of EOD are forced to play a dangerous game of cat and mouse in the chaos of war in a city where everyone is a potential enemy and every object could be a deadly bomb. Jeremy Renner plays James, a tough-as-nails soldier who never hesitates and seems to have a supreme confidence in himself and his abilities. In stark contrast to Eldridge, who is so certain that he will die before the end of his rotation that he has an army psychiatrist visiting him every day, and Sanborn, who just wants to get home alive. The Hurt Locker is easily the best film that has ever been made about the Iraq War, and probably the best war movie since Saving Private Ryan. The majority of the credit for this has to go to director Catherine Bigelow, an experienced action movie veteran who's given us such films as K-19, Strange Days, and even the Keanu Reeves, Patrick Swayze Surfer Dude action movie, Point Break. But Bigelow has continually showed an aptitude for staging tough and intricate action, and she's created her masterpiece here. The Hurt Locker is a spellbinding, pulse-pounding thriller. This is flawlessly crafted, and it's a film that makes you both think and feel, and it's equally successful as a suspense thriller, a human drama, and at times even as a darkly comic satire. Terrific performances abound, including cameos by such stalwarts as Guy Pearce, David Morse, and even the great Ralph Fiennes, also known as Lord Voldemort. But the standout is Renner, who gives a riveting performance that reminded me of Mel Gibson in the original Lethal Weapon and Russell Crowe in L.A. Confidential. Sergeant James is a complete enigma. Is he a dangerous fool or a brilliant tactician with an uncanny ability for cheating death? Renner has given memorable performances in such films as SWAT and North Country, but his performance here is a genuine revelation, and we can expect big things from this actor in the future, starting with a possible Oscar nomination. But as good as Renner is, the clear star is Bigelow, who is at the top of her game in every respect, and is a virtual shoo-in for an Oscar nomination. Unlike a lot of other Iraq War films, this is not a soapbox movie preaching for or against the war. It's just a taut, suspenseful look at the realities and horrors of war itself, and the things that make this particular war so unique and difficult to fight. And it's truly unforgettable. This movie gets a very enthusiastic A+ for me. The Hurt Locker is rated R for strong violence and profanity. I really like this film. It was disturbing, very disturbing, and it was so intense and suspenseful that I actually thought I was going to throw up after the film was over. I had to just take a minute and sit there after the credits were rolling. Oh. I was just so pulled into this.
I don't disagree with you even for a moment about the quality of this film. I think it was an excellent film. It was excellently put together. The story was great. You're absolutely right. This is not a preachy film. At the same time, though, my personal tastes, as everybody probably already knows by now, I like more fantasy. I don't like the real world. So when I watch a movie that is that real and that rough, I don't enjoy it. So if you like little fairy tale films like I do and you don't like the reality, then you're not going to enjoy this film, even though it's an amazing movie. However, if you like the movies, like I said, like Saving Private Ryan, like really rough, really real, gritty war films, you'll love it.
This is not a movie that's made to go out and have a fun evening with, most certainly.
No, it's not.
This is a movie, while I enjoyed it immensely, it's a movie that is made to be, well, I think it does work on multiple levels. I think it's one of the best action suspense thrillers I've seen in a long time, but it's a very serious drama.
I think it's a very eye-opening film to people in America who've never been outside the country and who've never seen how other people struggle. I have been outside the country, I've seen other people struggle, and I don't like seeing it again and again, you know? I've got my little cave that I'm hiding in, and I'm happy in it.
I can understand that, but I think there's a value to people seeing films like this.
There's a very big value to it. I think it's very important. I'm glad, I'll probably be glad a year from now that I saw it, but right now I just feel all that hurt and pain and all those reminders about what the real world is outside of pretty America.
And it's interesting that you say that, because everything that you just said, a question that I keep getting asked about this film is, what does the title refer to? What is the Hurt Locker? And I read an interview with Jeremy Renner, who played Sergeant James, and what you just said about, everything you just said about the real world and the hurt and the pain and everything that you're trapped in, according to him, that's what the Hurt Locker is. He says that the title is meant specifically to be ambiguous, so you get whatever you want out of it, but to him, it symbolizes that horror that you're trapped inside and the uncomfortable places you go in wartime. You know, what I liked about this, and there are a lot of things that I liked, but to me, there were just some little moments like seeing soldiers relaxing in their downtime after fighting these brutal battles by playing violent video games. I mean, was that ironic or what?
I think I would have done the same. Well, it is ironic, but it's funny too, because in the video game, when they die, they just get back up and they just lost a few points.
Right.
It's kind of a sad reminder to them that if they die out there, they don't get a game over and start the game again.
So I really highly recommend people go out and see this film.
All right, moving on. We're going to be exploring a different facet of filmmaking. The three hosts of Slicc Flicks, Patrick, our co-host Paul, and myself, have something in common. We're all students at Salt Lake Community College Film Program.
When we return, we'll be chatting with a special guest about the exciting opportunities to learn and actually make movies right here at Salt Lake Community College. Stay tuned, there's more to come on Slicc Flicks.
To look my best now. Jenny, we started our book report. Here's the cover.
Yeah, now all we need is a beginning,
a middle,
and an end.
Jenny!
Hi, honey.
Are you feeling blue? What's wrong with being blue?
Well, where should I start?
If you're a teen dealing with stress, there's help. Visit the Will Rogers Institute website for a free booklet about teen stress and how you can de-stress your life.
Right.
Welcome back to Slicc Flicks. I'm Yelena Baykova.
And I'm Patrick Gibbs.
We're here with Channing Lowe, film professor at Salt Lake Community College. Thanks for taking the time to be with us today, Channing. Tell us a little bit about the film program here at the Salt Lake Community College, please.
The film program has been around probably about a half decade now. It's still kind of in its infancy, but it's grown quite a bit. It's a 2-year degree, AAS degree. Associate Applied Science. It's a very hands-on technical degree, meaning students come into the program and they pretty much pick up a camera their first semester, start learning the concepts of film production, a little bit of the theory behind it, but then they actually go out and start shooting it. They learn anywhere from how to run cameras, how to script a movie, how to block out the shots, how to shoot it, how to edit it, how to do the post-production, pretty much following the 3 production process, which is pre-production, production, post-production, and teaching all those kind of on-hands
so at the end of
things in between.
At the end of every semester, do the students have a complete project, like a complete film?
Yes, even from the beginning production class, they'll have 3 short films by the time the production course ends. They'll have a 1-minute movie that they start off doing, a 2-minute movie, and then end up with a 5 to 10 minute short movie project by the end of the semester.
Do the students ever enter these projects into any film festivals?
Yes, we encourage them to. We do have an on-campus film festival that a lot of students enter, and which cash prizes are to be won, but we also encourage them to enter into national film festivals, try to get them into festivals as big as Sundance and other festivals as well.
What would you say is probably the biggest film that's been made out of at Salt Lake Community College?
This past spring we've had 2 films that were shot that were feature-length films. Mm-hmm. The students did as an independent study course and decided to do them as their course projects. Mm-hmm. And each one of them, they got finished with the production process, meaning they've filmed the entire movie, and they're both in a post-production process. One of which has been completed with the rough cut all the way through, and now he's going through and doing sound mixing, color correction, and all the finalized things where he's going to send it off to have music done for it. So those will have been probably the biggest projects done here to date, our 2 feature-length films that our students have pulled off on their own.
3 feature-length films, because I know I produced a feature-length.
Yes, I've never seen the finish of that product of that one though. Are you talking about the
basket case?
The basket case.
Title of it, yeah.
Have I seen that one?
I don't know.
I have not seen that. That
was before you were here.
That's before my time. So.
Speaking of you coming here as a teacher, tell us a little bit about your background in film. How long have you been a filmmaker? How did you get into film?
Well, it pretty much started when I was in grade school. First time the VHS camera technology started coming out, and I could get a hold of VHS cameras and go running out and
right.
Those aren't projects that I'm necessarily proud of, that I go around saying look at this great VHS movie that I made when I was in grade school or high school.
I don't necessarily show people the brilliant productions I made with my stuffed animals when I was younger.
Exactly.
But they were important.
Yeah, and I mean, you start out doing that type of stuff. You start studying like film concept, film composition. I mean, you're all the movies that you've watched from a kid, you're starting to implement those techniques that you've learned by watching movies. It's just kind of things you pick up on. But then you go to film school and you start placing terms with the things that you've already been doing, as far as like wide shot, medium shots, close-ups, inserts, cutaways, all these different types of film terms that you learn when you actually go to school or when you actually get on a set and start learning that stuff. But I went to the U of U film program there, graduated in their film program, and been working. Worked in news for a few years. Worked at in a couple different studios doing studio broadcast television production and some film things. Mainly on an independent level. I've kept my film projects going, putting them in film festivals and just making movies even on the side while I'm teaching as well. So I'm been interested in it for some time.
Let me ask you, what do you think is unique to Salt Lake Community College's film program as opposed to, say, the U or some of these other places? What do you think makes the Salt Lake Community College film program special and something that people would want to be a part of?
Well, it is a 2-year degree, so in a sense, by force, we have to get the students learning things hands-on from the very beginning. And not to knock it at all, because the theory portion is very important, but a lot of people will go to the 4-year college and they'll be immersed in the theory portion of filmmaking first, which is very important, but we're teaching more of a technical degree where students are going to come in, learn how to use cameras, learn how to use the editing software, learn how to grip, learn how to do production assistant, script supervision, and go out and be able to work on a set immediately.
So basically the difference is that here at the Salt Lake Community College you get a hands-on experience immediately from the start. Would you say that's a difference?
Yeah, pretty much the first semester you come in, you grab cameras, and when I went to the U of U, it was a great program, but I was there about 1.5 years before I actually got into the production side, where I learned the history of film, the critique of film, the aesthetics of film. They're all very important subjects.
And we're pretty up to date here on all the cameras and equipment. Isn't that right?
Over the last couple of years, we've gotten a couple grants where we've gotten some nice high definition cameras. We're shooting on some of the new Sony XD cams, which are really nice, high quality cameras, high definition, and the software is all up to date.
What kind of software do we use for the editing?
We use the Final Cut Pro Final Cut Studio software, the latest one, and we're quite proficient in the software. We teach how to use the software, so pretty much by the end of production one, you'll have a fairly decent grasp on the software, how to bring in some footage and edit your movie together and do some sound mixing and music and color correction.
So I think there you hit on, to me, what is one of the really exciting things about this program. By the end of production one, you'll have done this and this and this. I have friends who have studied film at the U who are like 3 years into their degree, have not picked up a camera or made a film yet. Here you get to jump in and really start making movies, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, and you do have to realize that the U of U is an art degree.
Sure.
It is an art degree, so you are learning the art of filmmaking as you go there. And to create art, you do eventually have to get into the production side to create your art. But behind art goes a lot of theory. And learning things like I mentioned, history and aesthetics and different types of genres and whatnot.
But you could do that here as well.
Yeah, I mean there's some auxiliary classes, some elective courses you could take as well. But the degree is a technical degree. It's intended to put after two years of coming here, somebody would be able to go work as either a production assistant or grip, or if they want to do independent filmmaking, they're welcome to do that as well. And there are some courses that are geared toward industrial production as well in the film program, so if they want to work in a broadcast house or a production house, there's some classes that will teach them those skills as well. So,
what advice would you give to somebody who is interested in becoming a filmmaker, first and foremost? What advice would you give?
Go to medical school. Come up with a different
yeah.
No, because it's a difficult field to get into.
It certainly is.
Yeah, so somebody that's interested in it, I'd say you've got to be very interested in it. You've got to be very serious about it. And the biggest problem I see with some students that go through the program is they will come through and they just want to make their own movies. And which is an admirable quality. I do it myself, so I'm not knocking that so much but you've also got to come into it with the idea of, I'm going to make a career out of this, I've got to make money doing this, so you've got to start finding some skills that are going to place you in the market somewhere, somehow, so you don't graduate and you just end up floating around seeking for somebody to fund your next project. because you can do that for years and years and never find a penny. So it's good to be involved. Find some skills. I would say, if I was going to give some advice to a student, I'd say make sure you're learning all these skills you can, take advantage of it. Start doing some internships while you're in the program. Start looking for jobs that are in some sort of broadcast field, some sort of film field, something that relates to the field somehow, that you can start getting to know people and actually making some money so you can eventually make a career out of it. So.
All right, that's all the time we have for this edition of Slicc Flicks. Thank you for joining us, Channing.
Keep watching our daily installments of Slicc Flicks, and be sure to join us in the fall for new episodes. Our co-host Paul Gibbs rejoins us after a brief hiatus due to a kidney transplant. And we highlight some more films and go more in depth into the film program at Salt Lake Community College and showcase some of the exciting productions being made right here by some very promising new filmmakers.
Until then, turn off your cell phone and stop kicking the seat in front of you.